Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kate, this is Diamond Painting and Dr. Pepper, and today I want to talk to you about my January month in review for 2026. I had no finishes this month, but that's because I started two kind of big projects. So on January 3rd, I started Maleficent's Curse, which is the first in my year of Disney that I'm working on, and it is what my spinny wheel chose from all my Disney kits for me to start out with. And I was worried it was going to take quite a long time for me to finish it. However, as you can see, I got almost halfway through this kit in January. I'm pretty happy about that. I was 2 sections short of halfway through, and for a while it was the only thing I was working on, but I still think I should be able to get it done by the end of March, maybe? I'm hoping. So anyway, I'm really enjoying this kit. The colors are really fun. There's a good mix of color blocking and confetti, although I will say it's mostly color blocking. I think I'm going to get into more areas of confetti as we get over to the dragon and Prince Philip part of the kit, but I'm having a blast so far. This one is 101.8 by 69.9 centimeters. It's a square kit and I'm loving it. And then on January 14th, I started my project for Fairy Tales and Folklore a little early. This is Red Riding Hood by Sunset Dragon. It's 52 centimeters by 92.6 centimeters, also a square kit. The color palette is quite different though from Maleficent's Curse, so I'm enjoying working on both of them in tandem. And I got about 2 rows of this one done. I guess it's a little less than that because the first row was kind of a shorter row, just the way the perforated cover fit there. But yeah, it's been really fun so far. I love the Art Nouveau style of this kit and I've been so excited to work on it, so I'm really enjoying that. And that's actually it for my whips. I only have those 2 going right now, and I'm hoping that I can get Red Riding Hood finished by the end of February. I have it weighted heavier in my whip wheel, so it's at about 75%, whereas Maleficent's Curse is at 25%, so I should, in theory, roll it more often in February and be able to kind of fly through it, I'm hoping. Alright, now let's talk about the purchases that I made. I did end up buying 7 kits. 2 of them were restocks though, and so 5 of them were new releases. My 2 restocks were Mermaid Bedroom by Mrs. Butter D, which I can't believe I didn't have yet, but I broke down and bought that one when it restocked. Another one I'm surprised I didn't buy when it first came out, Long Distance Coven by Miss Holly. I love both of these kits, so I'm so glad I was able to grab them. As for the other kits I bought this month, I got some good ones. I could not resist Spectrum of Dragons when it came out. I am so excited to work on that one at some point. It's huge, it's gorgeous, what a rainbow of pretty creatures. Really excited for that one. At that same drop, I also got Dark Academia Desk, Wicca and Lumi, I think it's called. It's a really long title. This one's by Maragona Suli. Really excited for this one also. I think, yeah, I haven't skipped out on a Maragona Suli so far. I just have loved every single one that have come out with her, so we'll see if that continues, but yeah, she's great. For the Valentine's Day drop, 2 out of 4 got me. I got Love Witch Magical Shop by Mrs. Butter D and Chocolate Dream by Miss Holly. I got 2 kits from each of those artists this month. Can tell what I like, I guess. And then since I was purchasing for Valentine's Day, I also picked up the Up Mini Dazzle set. So I'll be adding that to my Disney spinny wheel as a possibility to roll for whenever I get to spin next. I love diamond painting food, so I'm really excited for the Chocolate Dream one by Miss Holly. I just don't know when I'm gonna work on it. I'm tempted to work on either that one or Love Witch Magical Shop this year, just because I'm really excited about both of them. But I already have so much going on, so I'm not sure that I will. And that's about it for the diamond painting side of things. If you're just here for diamond painting, Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in my next video. If you want to hear about the books that I read in January, stick around and we'll talk about those next. All right, fellow readers, I ended up reading 7 books in January, starting off with a bang with Blood Over Brighthaven, which is one that had been on my want to read list for quite some time. I'd heard it was really good, and it was. It's about kind of this city that's in the middle of a bunch of wildlands, and it's got this big shield over it to protect it because out in the wilderness around it, there's this thing called the Blight that randomly attacks living things and basically unravels their bodies. And a lot of the populations, like the tribes and clans that live outside the city, eventually have to try to reach the city to find refuge because the Blight is taking more and more of them. So it's really interesting. It's got a very unique magic system where they use what's called spellographs that are like typewriters to mathematically plot out their spells and type them up. It's really cool. I liked a lot of the themes of this book. A lot of it was about feminism and race and class disparity, and I find those topics really interesting to read about. So I gave it 5 stars and I'd highly recommend it. After that, I read the book for Michaela and Natalie's book club for January, which was Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson. It's a thriller, like mystery kind of novel, and I really enjoyed it. It has a really unusual kind of setup, basically, and it's not a spoiler because it kind of talks about that on the back of the book blurb write-up. Basically, the main character, Jet, gets attacked at the beginning of the book, and due to a medical condition she has, what happens is that she's got a brain injury and is left with the choice of either having an operation that has like a 90% failure rate, like she'd die on the table, or in about a week or so, she would most definitely have an aneurysm and that would kill her. So either way, her chances of survival are pretty much nil, and she chooses to take the extra week and try to solve her own murder because she didn't see who attacked her, and she wants to try and find out and get justice for herself, which I thought was such a cool concept, not something that I had heard of before, and I thought it was really well done within the book because I feel like something like that can seem pretty far-fetched, but it was explained well within the text and just really fun to read. The character started out pretty unlikable in the beginning. She did get better over the course of the novel, which I think is nice because we had a dynamic protagonist. Sometimes that's not the case. She had some room in there to grow into kind of a better person, so that was great. There were a lot of good twists and turns and reveals in the book, as you want in a thriller, so yeah, I gave that one 4 stars. It was a really good book. My next finish was Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. If you're new to my channel, my 2 oldest kids and I have like a book club that we do, and this year we've picked 6 books, 2 each, and we are randomly unwrapping one as we finish the last one. So the first one that we randomly unwrapped was one that I had purchased for us to read, and that was Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. It was a really fun book. It was one of those books that was hard to put down. So the way that we do it as a buddy read system is we break the book up into sections with an equal number of chapters inside, and then we wait for each of us to catch up to the first section before we move on to the second, and so forth. So it was really hard because I'd get to the end of the section and I'd be like, oh, but I want to keep reading. So that's how you know it's a good book. I did give it 4 stars because the end I felt was like a little bit of a letdown. Like it was kind of anticlimactic at the end, but I loved the writing, I loved the characters, and I loved how it was kind of a play on Harry Potter if it was more adult. The characters weren't adults, but the themes were kind of more adult, so I really enjoyed it. I definitely want to read the rest of that series, and so do my kids, so we're gonna wait for each other, I think, and read them together once we get done with these 6 that we've already planned out for the year. So basically these books are, like I said, kind of a play on Harry Potter. There's like a wizarding school in the UK, and then some people are just born with magic and other people aren't. The magic itself is really fun because it's all based on language, kind of. Like the phrases that we use in society are turned into spells. So if it's something that's used a lot in modern society, it'll be a nice strong spell. So something like a nursery rhyme that's repeated over and over again and is a big part of our community, that would be a strong spell to use. Or even song lyrics, which I think is fun. Like the books in this series are all named after songs. So the first one is Carry On, which I had originally thought was after Carry On Wayward Son by Kansas, because the second book is called Wayward Son, but I think it might also be a reference to Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen, because the third book is called Any Way the Wind Blows, and that lyric by Queen is used in the first book. So yeah, really cool, really fun. Enjoyed that a lot. The fourth book I read was The Everlasting by Alex E. Harrow. That one was a gorgeous book. It's very fairy tale vibes, and it had a lot to do with like time loops and time travel, which I love that trope. That's probably my favorite themed trope that I read. So anything with time travel and I'm interested. This one got 5 stars from me. Basically, it's about a former soldier turned academic who receives a mysterious book that he starts to translate. It was in an old language that he is one of the only people who can translate, and it's about a character of legend that he has grown up learning about, a lady knight that he is kind of obsessed with to an interesting degree, and that comes into play later. But yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff in that book, and I really enjoyed reading that one. Next, I read Everybody Wants to Rule the World Except Me by Django Wexler. This is book 2 in his Dark Lord duology, and it finishes up that series. And it's a blast. It's a fun read, and so is the first one. I liked the first one a little bit better. I gave that one 5 stars. I gave this one 4 stars, but still really enjoyed it. I don't want to talk too much about what this one's about because it's the second in a book of 2, so there's probably some spoilers in there from book 1. But anyway, really, really good. Highly recommend that duology if you don't mind some kind of raunchy humor. It's fun. Then I read another thriller called The Only One Left by Riley Sager. That was the first book I read by Riley Sager, and I like his writing style quite a bit. Although the ending of the book was a little bit far-fetched to me. It felt a little bit out there. I still gave it 4 stars because it was an enjoyable read that had me wanting to keep turning the pages. That's one thing I like about thrillers, is that often is the case. If they're written well, you just want to find out what happens and see if you're right in your guesses. I love to try and guess the ending or guess part of, the whodunit or whatever is going on within the book. And I didn't guess everything in this one, but I did guess some of it. And that's my favorite. It's like, okay, I didn't guess everything. The author still managed to surprise me, but there were some things I picked up on, It makes you feel good. I like it. I don't know. That one is about a caregiver who gets the job to go take care of a stroke victim who has been rumored to have murdered her entire family back in 1929. The book takes place in 1983, so it was a long time ago, and throughout the course of the book, the caregiver is trying to find out what really happened back in 1929, and it's really intriguing. I like both of those time periods, the 80s and the 1930s time period. I find them both pretty fascinating to read about. So yeah, if you like thrillers, I'd recommend that one. It's pretty fun. The last book I read in January was an autobiography. by Christine Brown Woolley. This one is called Sister Wife, a memoir of faith, family, and finding freedom. And I thought it was going to be a little bit more about like her deconstruction from her faith, but it was really more about the interpersonal relationships between her and the rest of her family in a like polygamous relationship marriage and what happened with that. I never watched the show on TLC called Sister Wives that their family was part of, but I really enjoyed the autobiography of her experience working with the show and being part of that relationship. And then of course I had to go and look up some clips from the show so I could like put faces to names, and yeah, lots of really interesting drama and stuff happening there. I gave that one 5 stars because I tend to do that for autobiographies. I feel like if people are gonna share their personal lives with the world, then they deserve 5 stars for it. And even though it wasn't what I was expecting when I picked it up, I really did enjoy reading it and hearing about her experience. So yeah, that is all 7 books that I read in January. I hope you enjoyed hearing about them and maybe added 1 or 2 of them to your TBR. If you stuck around to the end, thank you so much for being here with me today. I appreciate you, and I will DAC you all in the next video. Bye everybody.